a very special time of year right now, and you might be getting ready to see someone, you know, that friend or family member that perhaps you haven't seen in person for a couple of years now. And when you do, you're going to want to make sure that you are looking and feeling your best. And Indochino is here to make sure that happens so you can be stylish and sharp without appearing like you're overdoing it. Indochino provides top quality clothing at surprisingly affordable prices. Better yet, you can confidently shop online to find the exact fit, material, and style that suits you and your personality, so you'll be ready for any occasion, be it formal or casual or even super cash. I went online, filled in all my measurements, picked my color, style, size, and was happy to find just how easy the website is. And then beyond that, I was so happy that when my shirt arrived, it actually fit me, because that's not something that always happens when you buy online. You know, you fill in your details at other places, and then the item of clothing that turns up isn't exactly what you had in mind. With Indochino, every piece is made to your exact measurements, and you can customize every detail. You can choose everything about your suit, including the fabric, lapel, monogram, and statement linings. And Indochino suits start from just $429 and shirts from $79 with all customizations included. Give yourself a custom closet revamp with Indochino, or give that gift of great style with an Indochino gift card. Get $50 off any purchase of $399 or more by using promo code NODUNKS at Indochino.com. That's $50 off any purchase of $399 or more at INDOCHINO.com, promo code NODUNKS.
Hey, just wanted to see how that pause music was coming along. Now keep in mind, this is a movie tie-in video game from the Nintendo 64. Not looking for anything too crazy. What do you think about this?
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. Tuesday, December 14th. I'm J.E. Skeets, and alongside me, as always, there he is, Tess Mellis.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, Cassie? We got our top shot hot boy, ripping them lips, Trey Kirby.
Hey-o.
Hey. Yo. International man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friends.
Really? And last, certainly not least, making the magic happen, it's JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. Shout out to the stream team joining us live right now on YouTube. They're doing a little roll call I saw there in the stream team. I'd love to see it. What's your name? Where are you from? Shout out to the stream team. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share the show as we inch our way to 50,000 subs. Keep sending in your questions. NBA questions, non-NBA questions. We want all of them. NoDunks@theathletic.com. That's the best way to email them in. I think we're hitting the beach tomorrow. So if you got a good one you've been sitting on, I would get it in ASAP. And maybe it'll make tomorrow's podcast. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at No Dunks Inc. That's INC. Okay. We are going to get to many of the games from last night. Also going to talk about some of the other teams to maybe watch as NBA trade season is sort of upon us at the crack of midnight. What is it, Taz? 84% of the league will be available to move. So, you know, we talked a lot about, of course, the Sixers and the Blazers and the Pacers, but there are other teams that could be active here in the next couple of weeks. So we'll get to some of them. But first, guys, it's been a minute. We got a Wedgie number 13. Lucky number 13 from a Celtic. I like that. Jayson Tatum sticking the three-pointer on the left side. Oh, and Brian Scalabrine on the call is like just pure giggles, Tass. He was loving that. He called it a boink. You know, nobody said Wedgie on that Celtics broadcast, but man, he couldn't stop laughing at that shot.
Yeah, Brian had the grade school giggles going on. It was enjoyable to listen to. Jayson Tatum, 42 big points that we'll talk about. One day, guys, there will be a column alongside the points column in a box score, which reads Wedgie. And Jayson Tatum will have a 1 beside that 42 points. Of course, 42 was impressive, but what about the one Wedgie? One day, we all may be dead, but there will be a line in the box score.
Wow.
And someone will say, you know who really popularized that? No, not Brian Scalabrine. He called it a boink. It was those no dunks, the starters, the Basketball Jones dudes. Those are the guys who did it. Shout out to Ralph Lawler. You're the original Wedgie man. But we took it and ran with it, Ralph.
For sure. Yeah. What's the abbreviation for Wedgie in the box score? I guess WDG.
That sounds good.
It looks all right, I would think.
BLK
just
is
W.
block, STL is steal. Close enough. Yeah, I like that.
All right. Well, I can't wait for that day. Go ahead, Lee.
Surprised we didn't get a little more from Scalabrine, because remember last year he said his son was always watching the Wedgie show or something like that. So he knows, he understands what a wedgie is. So a little disappointed. Maybe it's his first one of the year though. We'll give him a pass for that.
I mean, he didn't really say, "Hey, that's a boink." He called it the action when the ball went. He did the replay and he said "boink" as it hit. So. I think maybe he just doesn't want to let it loose. Let it loose, man.
Well, that's why I think he was laughing the entire day. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to say Wedgie. I'm going to say it. Oh, I can't say it. Well, let's get to that game. Let's just start with that one. You said it there, Tass. Tatum scored 42 to help carry the Celtics past the Bucks. 117-103. Trey, besides the Wedgie, or the takeaways from this one?
Oh, you wanted me to have notes beside the Wedgie?
Yeah, if you could.
I thought that was the big takeaway.
Oh, well, okay, moving on to our next game. No.
Okay, here's some notes for you. A Wedgie, 42 points, and a win over one of the top contenders in the Eastern Conference. We never really settled on what the no dunks hat trick is. I don't think that's it, but still pretty nice for Jayson Tatum and the Beantown boys. Their first home game back after a 1-4 West Coast road trip. They didn't have Jaylen Brown for any of those games. He was back last night. Great playmaking from Jaylen Brown. 19, 4, and 5. Tatum, an absolute killer in the fourth quarter. 16 of his 42 to put things away. And Grant Williams was really nice off the bench as well. He added 17 points and 5 threes. A couple of things really stood out to me in this one, though. Both of them kind of show how committed the Celtics were to playing for each other last night. First, 31 assists on 43 makes. For Boston, the ball was just fizzing around, even with Tatum getting 25 shots up. This is a team that is a bottom 10 in assists per game. They can often get into ISO mode. Jayson Tatum's best as an ISO scorer. I kind of think Jaylen Brown is as well. Dennis Schroeder would rather dribble the ball. That's not going to work against the defense like the Bucks, though. So Boston did a great job all night, breaking down their defenders off the dribble, getting deep penetration, and finding open shooters. They hit 23s, their most in a regular season game this year. You're going to win a lot if you make 23s. The second thing was the defense for Boston. The Milwaukee Bucks hit 6 threes in the first quarter, stretched out a little lead there, but the Celtics tightened things up from then on out. Held Milwaukee to 5 of 22 from 3 in the final 3 quarters here. The offense is going to come and go for the Celtics, but the defense has to be consistent. It was terrific last night. We talked about the threes. Boston also held Giannis to 20 points on just 7 of 14 shooting. They were swarming that guy, and it was really working. Post-game, Ime Udoka said defense was what they were really concerned with after coming back on the road trip. Quote, Udoka, we've been talking about who we want to be and just showed them. I had an animated film session of that trip. We didn't like that feeling and got back to who we are. So my question to you guys, when Ime Udoka says he had an animated film session, do you think he's animated, or do you think it was like a claymation film? This is the holiday season.
Oh, I will admit, my mind immediately went to what Pixar movie did he play in film session? Real Phil Jackson-like vibes here to play some movie. And yeah, I think it was the former, I guess, or the idea that he was lively in the film show, because they had a brutal road trip task and dropped a lot of games. And you keep tweeting about how they are like the perfect 500 team and they should always be 500 because they're good. They're maybe not great this year, but they're not bad. But this was a pretty good victory here.
I think the only thing that could make it better is if Ime Udoka popped on some Encanto after the game. Have you guys seen this? It's an animated kids movie. It's happening right now. It's a musical comedy. I think JD would like it. It's got some great characters. It's the movie of the season. I think it came out just before American Thanksgiving. And it's going to take off by Christmas, I think. Okay. I think people will be tuning in. So maybe Udoka's playing that for them. I will not get too high, never get too high on this team. It's hard for me to believe in them for this team to put it all together at the same time. that being said, you see what they do in this game, and that's what gets you excited. And then they'll drop one very soon. But Jayson Tatum's 42 just reminded me of what he was last year to start the season. He was legitimately in the MVP conversation for the first month and a half of the season. It was last January. I know it's a weird thing to say, but it was 11 months ago. I remember I was in my in-between house that I was moving out of and into and out of and into as the season was about a month old, talking about Jayson Tatum as a real MVP candidate. And I found this stat kind of wild, seeing his 42. And then looking at the overall point totals for this season, he scored the second most points this year, total points. And obviously, games played comes into that and all that. But, that being said, this dude and this team should be a lot better than what they are. And there's a lot of expectations that come along with being such a great player and Jaylen Brown being such a great player. And that's why I think later in the show, Skeets, you've got them as one of those teams that could be making a move. There should be talks around this team because they should be better, because Jayson Tatum is that good and they should be playing up to their capabilities, but they absolutely have not. And I'm not reading into or buying the excuse of the injuries thus far. It's happening to a lot of teams, and the Celtics haven't really just been able to weather the storm.
Jaylen Brown did return, Lily, last night. I think he missed 5 games with that tight right hamstring, and he was solid. He had 19 points. There was another little injury scare in this one with him. I was like, no, not again. But he continued to fight through it. And he chips in, and then Tatum gives you a monster game like this, where I thought his handle looked tight last night. Tatum, he was attacking the Bucks defense, going right at them. And wisely, a lot of times, like the little quick layup, because Giannis is like breathing down your neck and going to try and swipe it. And he somehow got a couple of those just to drop really, really quickly off the glass. But anything to add to this Celtics win and I guess the Bucks loss?
Well, just more that Jayson Tatum in December has been really, really good in 7 games so far. He's 32 points on 50, 40, 82% shooting from the free throw line and 9 rebounds. And that really comes off the back of a pretty ordinary November for him, where he shot badly and turned it over a lot. So I think that's a key here, that Jayson Tatum has started to improve, and he's just feeling better. Maybe he's looking better, because he was someone who had the coronavirus. Remember, he said that affected him a lot. I'm not sure how long that sort of carried over for, but he certainly looks looser in December. And when he's playing at his best like that, that's a big win for them last night. The Bucks had no excuses. I mean, Chris Middleton left the game with a hyperextended knee. By the sounds of it, they're hopeful that that's nothing more than perhaps a couple of games there for him. But otherwise, once Giannis is out there playing, Bucks had a big lead in that first quarter. The Celtics had to work for this win. So I think that's huge for him, for the Celtics, and for Jayson Tatum. He's starting to get it together. And if he can, then maybe they can get themselves into that sort of top 4 Eastern Conference competition conversations. I don't really have them there at the moment. I think outside of Brown and Tatum, they don't have enough. But Tatum is so special that he has the ability, I think, to drag that team up into that top 4 if he can stay healthy and stay playing the way that he has been in December.
Yeah, Middleton did leave this game, like you said. He limped to the locker room there in the end of the third quarter. He didn't return, of course. Maybe bad timing, because he's likely to miss a couple games past. The Bucks embark on a stretch of like 5 games in 7 days here, so it's going to come fast and furious. And we know their record when Middleton, Drew, and Giannis are playing. And in theory, he probably will miss a couple, and hopefully it's nothing more severe than that.
They're a good squad, though. They can make it up, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we saw them without. He's important. No one likes to talk about Chris Middleton, but he's a guaranteed 20 points every night. He's a good defender. Yeah.
Yeah. For as much as we call him the Ferris wheel, I think he's a little bit more reliable day to day than Jrue Holiday is as a ball handler, just because Jrue will be more of a get involved guy. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about the Bucks long term, but they could kind of go down the standings a little bit here if they're not playing up to their capabilities, with Middleton down and Brook Lopez also missing. And it's going to be interesting to see if the Celtics can actually string things together here, because they've got their next 4 games are at home, but it's the Warriors, Knicks, Sixers, and Cavs. So 4 pretty good teams that they're going to be competing against for playoff seeding. Let's see if they can actually be a little bit consistent here.
All right, our next game, Steph Curry. He falls short of the 3-point record, obviously still chasing Ray Allen, but he helped lead the Warriors past the Pacers in a close one in the field house there, Tess.
Yeah, it was wonderful that he played, because we were talking about him potentially sitting out. They were contemplating Steph sitting out because he's been playing a lot of minutes. That's what they were factoring in. They're doing the whole scientific just evaluation as they have the past few years. That's what they were thinking about. But he played. He's going to play tonight in Madison Square Garden. Obviously, he didn't get there. Made 5, 1 to tie, and 2 to take the lead tonight in Madison Square Garden. I think he'll be free and easy now that he's knocking on the door, because he has been tight the last few games. He's said it. The team has said it. It's odd for Steph, the loosest basketball player in the world, the guy who bowls and plays volleyball and plays every other sport before the game and is incredibly loose before the game, to see him. Yeah, he is definitely pushing it a little bit. He's trying to get there. But if you look back, if you think back, I mean, he's been working for this his whole life. He's literally now going to be the best shooter in the history of the game. We already knew he was, but now it's going to be on the ledger. And this guy's, he's got a master class in shooting, like a literal master class, not one of those proverbial, oh, this guy just showed us a master class. He's got one, and now he's going to be the best shooter in the world, and with the mark to do it, unlike Lewis Hamilton, who's got a master class, but he couldn't win the title this year. I'm just kidding. Lewis Hamilton deserves a masterclass. But anyway, back to this game.
Give away the secrets, man. Why would you do that before the last race of the year? Verstappen must have watched it.
Obviously.
Stupid stuff from Hamilton.
That would be a great troll,
Where's his team
wouldn't
at
it?
on this one?
Verstappen starts tweeting it out. This masterclass is awesome. I learned so much.
Yeah, I tweeted that I gave him a promo code to beat Lewis Hamilton. I feel like I'm a part of the team, giving him a discount.
The thing that you can't teach in a master class, though, and what Steph doesn't teach in the master class, because I did watch a few of the first few videos, he teaches shooting, but what he doesn't teach is being unselfish, creating for others, and not just wanting to shoot every single possession. You can't quantify that. I guess you can in sort of plus minus. You can in the final score. You can sort of in team records. And that's why those are important, I think, when you're talking about like MVPs. Like that's why I think Steph's incredible year last year didn't equate to an MVP, but this year he's making sure everybody is on the same page. And even though he had a poor shooting night by his standards, he was a plus 17 in this one and went down to the wire, and he made his last 3 with 1:20 left. They're still down 2. And because he draws all that attention, next possession down, they came out to him, and he decided not to shoot the ball. He went in for a layup because he had that much space. I don't know how you quantify that when you go back in NBA history, when you look at the top point guards of all time, but Steph has got to be up there because of the space that he creates. And then he went for the tie on the possession with 20 seconds left. He bombed it. And Kevon Looney, because I think Steph, is able to draw that attention, was able to grab that offensive rebound and score. And that's how the Warriors won this game. So it hasn't been a very good few games for Steph because he has been pressing. It just hasn't looked like Steph out there. But I think he'll be comfortable going into Madison Square Garden tonight when he is going to destroy the record. It feels like he's going to have a big night tonight because he's got to bust loose.
It was sort of fun. Even in the field house for Indiana Pacers fans, Lee, they were roaring like every time he lined up a 3-point shot. Like they wanted to see history. I think I would have wanted the exact same thing. I've said it before. Every time I go to a baseball game, all I want to see is a perfect game or a no-hitter. I don't care which team it is, if it's the team I'm cheering on or not. I just want to see history. So they were doing that, and that's going to carry over to the MSG crowd tonight. I would like to see him beat it as they cheer and celebrate it, and then boo him immediately the next time he touches it. That would be a slick move. But yeah, what about the ending of this game? Pacers should have won this, in my opinion.
Well, yes, you saw actually Draymond Green and Gary Payton II's defense on that last possession there on Karis LeVert. I mean, they basically stifled him to the point where he turned it over and the Warriors got the ball back there. And Draymond just switching out. Karis LeVert, he had a decent game by his standards. He comes out and Draymond is just like right there immediately. And then he sort of pushes him over to Gary Payton, who came in for Steph. Steph actually sat out that defensive possession. So, when you're the Warriors and you've got Steph, obviously the offensive power that he has, but you can then afford to sort of rest him in those moments and put out someone who's, extremely good defensively. It just shows how versatile and how powerful they are. So, yeah, this was definitely a game the Pacers had a chance to win. Couldn't close it out. Steph was firing away. He gets that little layup, the little scoopy doopy underneath there, and then Kevon Looney was the hero actually in stealing Steph's thunder.
Kevon Looney.
That was a weird rebound and putback. It was
almost like a volleyball sort of like just deflection that went in there from Looney. I didn't actually check the box score, but that must have probably been the highest attended game in Indiana for the season, I'm guessing, because they did all want to see history.
Hadn't thought about that.
And why not? Why not? I mean, Steph, the ones that he has made in the last 2 games against Philadelphia and Indiana, they've been so sweet, those shots. But every time he catches a ball, there's someone seemingly right in his grill there. So he's had to work for him. But looking forward to it tonight. It's going to be fun to get it out of the way and move on because, as we talked about yesterday, Steph may be playing for another 8 years here. And, he may hit 5,000 before it's all said and done. So this one's going to look pretty, a non-event when it's all said and done.
To sort of paraphrase a tweet that I saw Trey have this morning, to turn it into a question, I guess is a better way to put it. Do you think his record-breaking 3 will be a 3-pointer tonight, please?
Well, yeah, I sort of tweeted it last night as well. Who's the guy who's going to be defending it? Is the trivia question in years to come? Who was the one who shot it over?
Who was defending Ray Allen when he beat Miller?
His was in transition.
It was in transition, Lee. Wow, this guy remembers.
Yeah. Well, I did a little feature on Ray on that as well. So yeah, I remember watching that. But I mean, if you're Thibs, do you like, all right, let him just get him out of the way, or do you say, screw this, defend the shit out of him and try to not let him have it happen here in Madison Square?
Yeah, I wonder what Tom Thibodeau's going to say about that one.
Thibodeau's going to say, give him 6 points. Just let him do it.
I mean, I don't know, but I guess it'll be Alec Burks who'll be his primary defender tonight, I'm guessing. So,
all right, well, good luck, Alec Burks. The real question, Trey, is when does it happen tonight? Make a prediction. You're on fire in the month here of December when it comes to the pick'em. What quarter is Curry doing this right away? First quarter? Or does it somehow make its way to the second half? Throw it out.
First quarter, 3:33 remaining.
Okay, there it is. Ooh, 3s. That'd be very nice. Bunch of 3s. Okay, let's keep it going here. Jokic demolishes the Wizards. Another monster line from him, but he gets ejected here in a close win. The Nuggets pulled it out. But Trey, I mean, start with that, please. What did you think of this toss where he got teed quickly from 2 different refs?
This tough break for Jokic because on the play that he was upset about, he got kneed in the nuts and then elbowed in the face. So I'm like, you have 2 valid complaints there. I don't know which one is worse. I think I'd rather get kneed in the nuts than get hit in the face, personally. I don't know why, but
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's a tough call. On that one, but I don't know. It seemed like he could have just gotten 1 technical in this scenario, right? Like he gets 1 for yelling at the ref on one side, and then he starts yelling, I guess, he changes his tact to who he's yelling at. So Tony Brothers gets ejected and gives him the toss. Nonetheless, an MVP performance from Jokic, but if you like round numbers, you're going to hate his box score. 28 points, 9 assists, 19 rebounds, a near 30-20-10, but instead denied a beef because the beef inspectors have those high standards. Things did get interesting, though, after Jokic was ejected. The Nuggets were up huge in this one. They got up by 33, I think was their biggest lead. Wizards brought it back to single digits with about 3 minutes remaining. They hit 9 threes in the second half. That's a bit of an equalizer there. But Lee, what do free throws do? Win games. That's 7 for 7 from the line.
Are you there?
I didn't know what you just said. I say practice your free throws.
He only has one line about free throws, all right? Don't ask him to deviate from that line.
What do free throws do? Get practice. Nuggets went 7 of 7 from the line in the fourth quarter to close it out. Aaron Gordon had a nice game. 14 in the first half, had a sick windmill, only had 2 points though in the second half, but they were a big 2. Crossed up Daniel Gafford for a dunk, sent him to the floor, dunked it on and put the Nuggets up 10 with about a minute left. Monte Morris, 22 points, 5 assists. He's been playing really well lately. And Facundo Campazzo, a straight up highlight machine last night. I don't know if you guys saw every one of them, but it was like behind the back passes. He threw an over the head pass. He had something called an underhand slinger on the broadcast. He threw a tip pass to himself, I think. Like they threw him a pass in the corner. He tipped it over the defender, caught it, threw behind the back dish to Jokic there in the lane. The Nuggets broadcasters even hit him with a Roy Kent Ted Lasso chant on the broadcast. He's here. He's there. Facu is everywhere. This is when they were building a 33-point lead. They were having some fun out there. It did get close in the end after the fake comeback by the Wizards, but a nice win for the Nuggets. Would have been cool to see Jokic get to some zeros there on the scoreboard, but man, the guy was dominant. He put up 28, 9, and 19 in 31 minutes. It could have been an even bigger box score if he got the full allotment of points, but great stuff from him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he deserved, of course, the first technical where, he's very upset and the official is right beside him. And I'm sure, whatever, he's swearing or he's very upset. But then he turns, like you said, to Tony Brothers, who's on the other side of the court. And it's just, Tass, you're great at reading lips. It sure looks like he just says something along the lines of like, call the foul on that end, where he had taken the knee from Spencer Dinwiddie and hit in the fade. That was it. Like that's all he said to Tony Brothers. And Tony was like, nope, I don't want to see a big beef on No Dunks tomorrow. Get the hell out of here. I don't want to hear the music. That's this guy's the MVP of the league, the reigning MVP. If you check Basketball Reference's MVP award tracker, he jumped Curry and Giannis last night too. I don't know if that's a part of the Nuggets going over 500, obviously a monster line, and he's putting up huge stats, but this is crazy. Like Tony Brothers should be, I don't know.
Ejection.
You're out of here. Yeah. That's serious.
Well, it was strange to see that, but it's at a point in the game where I think Tony Brothers may be factoring in what Jokic has done over the last 12 months in games. He had the body check with Morris. He had the karate chop with Campaign on his face. And so I think at that point of the game, he just may have Tony Brothers have said, we don't want you to get a little too hot and heavy. See you later. I think he factored that.
You think this was reputation toss?
A tiny bit
for Jokic.
A tiny bit. Listen, of course, he did not deserve to be tossed. But if you look at the circumstance of the game, it's an 18-point lead. The game's over. They could have came back. There was 6 minutes left in the game. I think Tony Brothers factored, and maybe Tony Brothers was just not having a great day. But also, the guy who he's tossing has been in the headlines or has been in the stories for having a whatever you want to call it, a Jokic temper or whatever. It wasn't his fault. Jokic should not have been tossed. But I think that's part of it. Jokic has been making headlines for those reasons. A lot in the last calendar year, as we've said. When was the campaign? It was in the playoffs last year.
It was 2021.
It was like last week.
It was.
Lee, what do you think of Jokic here? The monster numbers he's putting up, getting the Nuggets over 500. Like I said, a 30% chance, according to Basketball Reference, to win another MVP. But then, in addition to being tossed last night, I don't know. If this is LeBron, if this is Curry, this gets more headlines, in my opinion. And I know they win the games, so it ultimately doesn't matter. But you said it. The Zards are close. If they pull out this game, then holy crap, this may be a bigger story. But they obviously didn't.
Yeah, look, he had a right to be upset, and Spencer Dinwiddie actually got Facu as well with a little pop to the jaw just before that. So I like to think a guy isn't deliberately trying to whack another guy in the nuts or in the mouth, but Spencer kind of was aggressive last night, and I think that Jokic just was kind of like, come on, you got to call one of those. Like, he didn't deserve to get thrown out, but he sort of also insisted on getting thrown out by keeping on going there. You know what I mean? Like, players do that. They're like,
I think you deserve like the quick second tee when you go at the referee, you approach the referee. You obviously probably drop some expletives. He did none of that. He got the first tee and then he kept. Maybe he got the first tee, then he turned to Tony Brothers and said, call the foul back there. He pointed, and I think Brothers probably saw the point. He was like, well, don't you point at Tony Brothers.
He did take a couple steps toward him.
Well, Tony Brothers was coming to the sidelines too. Tony Brothers stepped to him.
Yeah, if he didn't,
Tony out here.
If he didn't swear at him, then no. And even if he did swear at him, like Jokic, because also there was that play where like Spencer Dinwiddie, they sort of got their arms tangled up there as well. So he was just kind of pissed off about that. But I do think though there is some reputation involved here that Jokic can at times be a bit of a hothead, and I think he does need to just be careful. Now, it didn't cost them in this game. In the playoffs, that game was pretty much over anyway, and the Heat won. He was provoked, but you've got to make sure that the guy doesn't lose his cool, because if teams can see they can provoke him a little bit, and he can react. So that's all. But he didn't deserve it. No, he didn't deserve it last night. But I like what Sam says here. What another beef brew with Tony brothers versus the Jokic brothers.
Oh, wow. Tony takes them all on.
I thought he was talking to the other referee and said, "Come on, make the call, brother." And then Tony Brothers says, "You talking to me?"
Oh, jeez. Real who's on first situation. Okay. Yeah. All right. I don't think he deserved to be tossed. You guys are saying the exact same thing. I think Tony Brothers was overreacting there. He's allowed to tell you, come on, just call it on the other end.
Maybe listen, you're a bit of a temper boy, Skeets. Maybe you just love another temper boy.
Well,
you're just cool with another temper boy. Jokic lost. Hey, he got hit in the face.
He got kneed in the nuts, hit in the face. He's going to be a little emotional about that.
Yeah.
And again, he got his tea. Everybody was fine, and he did nothing else. He didn't run at Tony Brothers. He didn't even swear at him, like I pointed out here. You're allowed to say, "Can you call it on the other end?" We see that 100 times a game. And he's the MVP. Like you say, it's the reputation for being a temper boy. I hear what you guys are saying.
And
he's the goddamn MVP of the league.
Yeah, it felt like the game was over as well. I know it wasn't, but anyway, this Wizards team, somebody's got to pluck one of these players from this team, right?
Oh wow!
I know you don't. Later on, we've got 7 teams you've got in that segment, Skeets. I know the Wizards aren't one of them, but they've got all this collection of players that they got from Russell Westbrook. Now that they've come back, now that they've come back to earth, and they're just a sort of a middling team again. At some point, you've got to trade some of these guys. It feels like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is going to be in high demand.
To the Lakers.
They would love him. They would. He would be their best perimeter defender in a heartbeat. They're in high demand. I mean, didn't he lead the Lakers in playoff threes when they won the championship? He did. He had more threes than LeBron. I don't know. It just feels like one of these guys is going to be attainable. Like if you can't get some of the big names, then maybe you shop with the Washington Wizards. But anyways, I got trades on the brains.
Yeah, you do. They've definitely come back to earth here, haven't they? The Wizards after a very hot start, sort of looking mediocre here now. Let's keep it going with some of the other games. Kevin Love, scored 23 in the second half. Wild as the Cavs beat the Heat 105-94. Now Miami without Bam, without Jimmy, but still, Lily, the Cavs. Tass had him. He broke down the tiers of the Eastern Conference yesterday. Hey, the Cavs are hot. What'd you have? Tier 3? Is that right?
Top of tier 3 at the very, very top. They're not quite. I'm not going crazy. I'm not putting them in tier 2 with the Bulls and the Heat, but they're knocking on that door. They could pass the Milwaukee Bucks in the Eastern Conference standings in the very near future. Well, it's legitimate. It's wild, man.
What'd you think of the game, Lily? What were your notes?
Well, that's the other thing is yesterday I was talking about how Kevin Love just looks happy out there and he's playing really well coming off the bench. And then in that second half, he comes out, hits the 5 threes, has 23 points. And this was a little bit closer. I mean, the Heat hung into this. They rarely sort of get pounded Miami, no matter how short-handed they are. And they were close enough. But Kevin Love really separated, especially in that third quarter. I thought he was just fantastic. And just look at how happy that bench was as well. They're so joyous playing with each other. And it was just an incredible game to watch from that. Now, how many All-Stars is the real question here for the Cleveland Cavaliers?
They're getting one. It's Jared Allen. Done. That's where the conversation ends.
Okay, it probably is Jared Allen, but again, based on a game like last night, they get contributions from everybody, and they go about 8 or 9 deep. And it was Love last night, and other nights it's like guys like Jetty Osman and Rubio with his running dirks that he does in the lane there, which is just an incredible shot. So much fun to watch. The only real problem they have is Darius Garland. Some of these interior passes he makes, he flings them in there with the left hand. They're high risk, low return. If he gets them to go, they're okay. But there are a couple of times there, it's like you don't need to make that pass. But also, Austin Carr, one of the most underrated color guys on the sideline, he's got that 3 laugh every time something funny happens. Like last night, Tyler Hero.
He laughs after every third play, man. He reminds me of, I've said it before, he reminds me of the doctor on The Simpsons. I forget the guy's
I know
character's name. He laughed after everything he was saying. That's who he reminds me of.
And Tyler Hero last night airballed one. He goes, "Oh, it looks like the basket moved on him," like that. And he had a couple of those. But yeah, look, this Cavs team right now.
Dr. Hibbert, by the way, that's what
Dr. Hibbert.
Dr. Roy Hibbert.
They are. One of the just most surprising best stories because they're a fun group to watch. And again, talk about trade season. Kevin Love is providing them with a really good problem to have. I honestly think right now they hang on to him because they're doing way better than they thought. And to have his veteran presence coming off the bench, contributing like he is, I don't think you break that up right now. I think the Cavs, even though they might be ahead of schedule, they could be like, let's just ride this thing out. They've come this far with Kevin Love. Why not keep it going? Because he and Rubio, that experience, they're former teammates. They're just playing so well for them. So this was a great, fun game to watch. Kyle Lowry was great. He absolutely snapped Larry Markin's ankles there for a while, hit some threes, and PJ Tucker wound back the clock. But that was actually the problem for the Heat. That was their offense. It was the two old guys. Didn't get a whole lot else out of anybody else.
Other games last night, I'll just rip them off here. And if you want to touch on any, have at it. We had the Rockets coming back, rallying to beat the Hawks. This was a surprising victory, 132-126. Raptors used a 70-point first half to crush the Kings, 124-101. Brooks and Jackson, they led the Grizzlies, who continue to win without John Morant, to the 126-91 blowout over the 76ers. KP Porzingis, Lee, how many emails are you going to get from that Porzingis fan today? He led the Luka-less Mavs to the 120-96 rout of the Hornets, and then the Clippers beat the Suns 111-95 in a rematch of the 2021 West Finals. I just wanted to touch on the Raptors playing the Kings. I watched a lot of that one. Yeah, I mean, this was a nice victory for Toronto. It's nice playing the Kings sometimes, isn't it? Really gets your confidence back up. Toronto made a season-best 53 field goals and set a season high with 28 assists. You had 9 different players for the Raps scoring 10 or more points. Yuta Watanabe had 12 and 10, first career double-double. He was great. And we get, after the game, Gentry saying, players held a closed-door meeting. Oh, another players-only meeting, baby, from the Kings. Not that it does anything. Just wild stuff. Ziller in his newsletter, though, he brought up Scottie Barnes having 5 blocks in this game for the Raptors. Wow. And he said, is he our new best hope for the 5x5? And he said, word to Gerald Wallace and Andrei Kirilenko. This is funny timing, I thought. Ziller pointed this out because I said the other day here on our show, maybe Evan Mobley, the Cavs rookie, is a best 5x5 candidate. Who's going to get to it first in these two guys' careers? Because I just checked the box scores. Scottie's closest 5x5 game this season, these guys are rookies, so they played 20 to 30 games. He had 19 points, 7 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 4 blocks. And then Mobley, his best 5x5 game, 17-11, 4 assists, 1 steal, and 4 blocks. I think it's likely one of these guys, if not both these guys, will at some point in their career get 1 or 2 of these 5x5s because they're, they can do a little bit of everything. Tass, is that far-fetched?
Absolutely not. Scottie Barnes' blocks yesterday, they weren't of the tip variety. They were of the absolute sexiest blocks that you can get variety. Those blocks that are just about to go in, just about to hit the glass, and then he pins them. 3 of them were basket-saving blocks right at the rim. They were gorgeous. You bring up Mobley in the same sentence, and it's hard for me to distinguish what Scottie Barnes is. Who the heck knows? Is he a big like Evan Mobley? I don't know. He's both. Like defensively, he is. He can do it all. But I don't know. I think he'll get there first because he's more of a perimeter guy and can block shots if you're talking 5x5s. But that was amazing to watch this Raptors team. They're on a streak, baby. They've won 2 games in a row. That's their 3rd win streak of the season. I don't care if 2 wins, you don't call it a streak like we did in the starter's office. We called it a patch or whatever the hell we called it because the streak is that 2 games. Who cares? The Raptors are playing their best ball of the season. I know it's against the Sacramento Kings. Oh, God, they killed the Kings the first time in Sacramento. 2 days later, they fired Alvin Gentry. I'm sorry, they fired Luke Walton. And now, after this one, after the Raptors destroy them again, a closed door players meeting. Of course it's closed door. When would you ever have an open door players meeting? I think that's a little redundant. It's just a players only meeting. But that was a blast to watch. And you mentioned Yuta Watanabe, his first double-double. I loved his comment after the game. He said, to be honest with you, I'm very proud of myself. What a great line. Eric Corrine, our friend there with the tweet from Utah. What a great dude. That guy just plays the game. And it's helps, those type of guys. Utah playing really well. Malachi Flynn alive in the 4th quarter, scoring. Yeah, the Raptors are streaking, baby.
Any of those other games that you'd like to touch on there, Lee? See, this is what happens when somebody says Russell Westbrook and Trey said What the funny fourth quarter.
quarter.
It's contagious.
Elma
against India.
Floyd.
Yeah, but any of the other games you want to touch on, Lily?
Well, the Hawks absolutely laid a clunker in that fourth quarter against the Rockets. Eric Gordon and DJ Augustine. Believe it or not, DJ Augustine's still in the league. Can't believe that. I heard Eric Gordon was once the leading fourth quarter scorer in the NBA. And, finished with I think he only had 10 in the fourth quarter, but 32 for the game. So he is certainly auditioning for a better.
Save it, Lee. Save it. We'll get to the Rockets in a second. Hell
But
yeah.
that's a stinker of a loss there for the Hawks. And to be fair, the Rockets definitely have been playing better lately, but they were up 13 going into the fourth quarter and got spanked. So bad loss, Atlanta.
Do you think when there's a bad loss in the NBA, like a stinker, as you called it, that the head coach or the captain of the team says, hey, can we get some mattress candles in here? Some nice odors up in this room?
They don't want to play as only media if there's been a stinker. They want to get out there and open the doors.
Tass dropped a stinker in the garage yesterday. We wanted to get the hell out of there. That's why you left so quick, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I knew what was coming. Tass is the best fourth quarter stinker of.
Am I the best, or am I the Atlanta Hawks?
Yeah, well,
The worst of the best, the best of the worst.
He's eating baked beans like Scottie Barnes. Come through in the clutch there. Okay, so let's take our first break, and when we come back, we'll get into some of the what I'm calling other teams to watch for as we get into NBA trade season.
What was that? Oh
My phone fell.
Jesus.
Don't worry, I'll take it out in post.
I've got these new pants, JD. The back pocket, not a great phone holder. Let it loose.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you just ripped a fart so loud it ripped through your new pants or something is what you're about to say.
I like to think I have good comedic timing, but I don't think I could even pull that off
You wanna pull
myself.
that off?
Yeah, always have one chambered, Tess. You know, you got to have one chambered at all times. With Masterclass, you can learn from the world's best minds anytime, anywhere, at your own pace. So I mentioned a few weeks ago that my son Jackson was trying out for the basketball team at his school. Well, bad news. He didn't make it. Bummer. But he took it in stride. He pointed out that Michael Jordan also didn't make his high school team. So there was that. And also he went straight back to Masterclass, specifically Steph Curry's Masterclass on shooting. Now he watched a little bit of it, in the summer, but I don't think he made it all the way through. But now he was serious. So Steph Curry's masterclass on shooting, ball handling, and scoring. So going into the tryout, Jackson was sort of more focused on the ball handling and the passing, which is great. But I think Trey summed it up the other day. Boxing out is fine, but if you want people's attention, you got to get buckets. So Jackson did a deep dive. He took notes and everything. Wow. Yeah, he took it very seriously. So it's been about a month, and I asked him this morning, because I'm doing this ad, I asked him if he thought that Steph's class helped his shot at all, and he said it actually made shooting way harder, which Steph said would happen because I'm not sure what the technique he's teaching, but he was told to expect that by Steph, but he has to practice through it every day, which is what Steph did. And now his shot, Jackson's shot, is more accurate. Masterclass actually works. And so now Jackson is a masterclass sicko, and he's got this obsession with BMX bikes for some reason. And he asked me if there's a masterclass on that. There isn't yet. So masterclass, your biggest fan over here is chomping at the bit to do some sick tricks. So you might want to consider a BMX class. Next up for me, I'm taking Sarah Blakely's class on self-made entrepreneurship. She just sold Spanx for $1 billion. Amazing. I can't wait to dive into that one with over 100 classes from a range of world-class instructors. That thing you've always wanted to learn, the thing you've always wanted to do is closer than you think. This holiday, give one annual membership and get one free. BOGO alert. Go to masterclass.com/no-dunks today. That's masterclass.com/no-dunks. Terms apply.
The masterclass for BMX riding.
Rad.
Send them my way, JD. We're firing up rad. That's all you got to do. You got to watch that, and then you're a pro. That's great stuff, though. I'm happy to hear he's taking the Steph shooting classes there on Masterclass.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
awesome. Well, this classic is also sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Check out betterhelp.com/nodunks. We've said it before. We'll say it again. The best way to think about therapy is through a bunch of analogies. We get our cars tuned up to prevent bigger issues down the road. Nice pun there. We hit the gym or go for a run to maintain physical wellness and prevent injury. And we clean up dog hair constantly to avoid a giant mess in the house. Going to therapy is like all of these. It's routine maintenance for your mental and emotional wellness. Going to therapy doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It means you're investing in yourself to keep your mind healthy. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Why invest in everything else but not your mind? This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and No Dunks listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/nodunks. That's BETTERHELP.com/nodunks. I couldn't remember if I said the E after the B. That's why I paused, but BETTERHELP.com/nodunks.
We received our Helix mattress a while ago, but I only just recently, like very recently, discovered its aroma. And I can say that it is a surprisingly impressive aspect and one I hadn't considered before when shopping for mattresses. But here's the rub. It gets even better than just how good it smells, because our mattress is as comfortable as it is smelly, but the good smelly, as I learned yesterday. And man, am I love lying in it every night, because I've always been a big bedhead, but the Helix is just legit. So comfortable for my wife and I. That's the challenge for any mattress out there. Find one that a couple can sleep in and both enjoy. And you can find out which mattress is best for you, because Helix Sleep has a quiz that takes just 2 minutes to complete and matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. Why would you buy a mattress made for somebody else, not including your partner, of course? Everybody's unique, and Helix knows that, so they have several different mattress models to choose from, all the different styles and types, like the soft, the medium, the firm. Mattresses for cooling you down if you sleep hot. Mattresses great for spinal alignment to prevent morning aches and pains, and even a Helix Plus mattress for plus-size sleepers. I took the Helix quiz, and I was matched with the Luxe mattress because I wanted something that felt medium, and I sleep on my side/stomach. I'm not really on my back, but I am a little bit wiggly in the night, but it's fine because I can move around without disrupting my wife's sleep, so it's perfect for both of us. Just go to helixsleep.com/nodunks, take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you to a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. So when it comes to mattresses, whether your preference is for cents or dollars, Helix is right for you. Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/nodunks.
You just gave a mattress class.
Yeah, I did. Great.
As I mentioned yesterday, and we've mentioned already multiple times over the last couple episodes, the unofficial start to NBA trade season is this Wednesday, when most players who sign contracts in summer free agency become eligible to be included in deals. 84% of the league could be moved around now on Wednesday. Well, we've talked a lot about the Pacers and the Blazers and the 76ers, even the Cavs. I feel like we've talked a lot about as a possible team that could be wheeling and dealing at the deadline. But I think there are plenty other teams that we can monitor here in advance of the trade deadline. So I just made a list. I've got 3 Eastern Conference teams and then 4 from the West that we can watch. So I'll throw them out at you guys, give you my opinion on why they could be looking to make a move at the deadline. And if you have a deal in mind that you want to throw in there, or just some thoughts, have at it. We'll start with the Boston Celtics. This one, Kevin O'Connor had a great article in The Ringer. He had a bunch of observations about the league, but he got into the Celtics. He follows this team closely. And he said, and Taz, I don't know if you agree, Brad Stevens in the front office here for the first year, that he's sort of on the clock here to fix a very disappointing Celtics team. They've probably been one of the most disappointing teams, right? Of this early year. I think the Knicks are in the mix too. Celtics got to be there. No?
They're 500. I think the record is better than our impression of them, I guess. So, yeah.
Okay.
The feeling is that they should be better. And Brett, I don't know if it's on the clock, but definitely the next year and a half, by the next trade deadline. I mean,
Yeah.
he could probably. Anyways, yes, he's on the clock.
Moving one of their all-stars, Kevin O'Connor pointed out, and of the two, more likely Jaylen Brown, like that would lead to a very massive return. I think you could get a lot for a player of his caliber. I think the Pacers would trade the farm sort of for him because maybe that's the quote-unquote star they'd be looking for. But even if they keep both of those guys, Tatum and Brown, and that's fine, there are other moves that Stevens could explore here because you have tradable short-term contracts. You got Marcus Smart. You got Josh Richardson. Al Horford even, who has played well for them. And then you have young players who they've shown promise that, I don't know, other teams could convince themselves there's like really something there. I'm talking about Robert Williams III, maybe Romeo Langford. So I think just with the Celtics slow start lately and like really leaning into a direction here. And again, maybe that is moving Jaylen Brown for a whole lot of pieces. Or if it's sticking with your two guys, Tatum and Brown, and your all-stars, working around the fringes here to like inject a little life into this team. I think they're a possibility at least to be active here. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade Jaylen Brown though right now.
You wouldn't? No, I don't think I would.
No. If you can get something for those other periphery pieces, then yeah, sure. I think anyone else is expendable. But Brown was an all-star last season. I think at his best, he and Tatum are a great 1-2 punch. I don't think they've reached the DeRozan-Lowry stage of their sort of time together where it's like, all right, this ain't working. We're going to try something else. I think you just try to continue to add around them. If they need a point guard. You wouldn't
trade Jaylen Brown, hypothetically, if the Pacers like, we will give you, again, like the farm, like we'll give you, let's say it's Miles Turner, let's say it's Jeremy Lamb, let's say it's like TJ Warren, and then a bunch of picks, like a lot for Jaylen Brown because they would like want that again, like wing star in their minds. You wouldn't do it even, or even Sabonis. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, when you say Miles Turner, then it's just pieces after that, which doesn't really help the Celtics. And those picks, okay, maybe, but I think you've got two young stars growing together in Tatum and Brown. I just wouldn't give up on those guys yet. Okay. You know, Horford, I think, has shown that he could still get you something maybe in return. But again, I think their problem is in the point guard spot. I think they need a more defined point guard rather than Schroeder and Marcus Smart. And even Marcus Smart, I think he can probably fetch you something because he can play defense. He's improved his shooting and stuff like that. But there's Miles Turner for Jaylen Brown and picks. No, thanks. Not if I'm Boston.
Beantown boys, are they going to be active here, you think, Trey? Should they? I guess is a better way to ask it.
I think they should because I think they're kind of in a holding pattern right now with this team. It's basically the same team that they had last year with a few little cosmetic changes, bringing in a Horford, bringing in a Schroeder. But Marcus Smart, to me, would be the guy I would want to trade. Unfortunately, he signed through 2026. So you're going to have somebody who really, really likes Marcus Smart and thinks that his defense, his playmaking, and his streaky shooting is what they want from their point guard spot. I don't know. They just need somebody who is a natural playmaker, and I don't think they have that on the roster. So to be able to find that would certainly help the Celtics, but it'll be interesting to see how Brad Stevens operates in the front office, right? We kind of have no idea right now for the past, 10 seasons. It's been the Celtics seem like they're going to be making a big move, and then we hear all about the moves that they didn't make. So we'll see if they actually do something this year because I think they need a little shot in the arm for sure.
All right, next team here on the list to maybe watch for. The Knicks, 12-15, the Bing Bong Knicks, man. Oh, remember when we were riding high after the Bing Bong video? Wow. They were going to win the championship, we thought. They have been, I think, right there with the Celtics, an early season disappointment here. New York has dropped from top 5 in defensive efficiency last season to basically bottom 5. I mean, they're just out of that little window. You got to figure that's giving Tom Thibodeau an ulcer, seeing those stats. We just learned that New York is maybe one of the several teams interested in trading for Ben Simmons. You know, there's an injection of defense, Lily, possibly. I don't know what the hell they would offer Philadelphia that would entice Daryl Morey. I know Randall, Julius Randle, I don't think why you'd ever want to really pair him with Embiid anyway, but he can't be moved until like right before the deadline. But like Evan Fournier and Alec Burks and Obi Toppin, and then they do have picks. Like they have a bunch of picks. That's the one thing the Knicks have. They have plenty of draft capital, but that's not going to be enough to get Ben Simmons. I wouldn't think so. But all future first-round picks, plus future first-round picks from Charlotte. I know there's some protection in there. I think it's top 18 protected in 2022. And then from Dallas, too, they have one still in 2023. That's top 10 protected. But they might need to make a move here. And again, so Lillard probably ain't going anywhere. He says, I don't want to be traded. So get that out of your heads. But any of the other big names, like Karl-Anthony Towns seems frustrated. Is that a move the Knicks could get involved in? Ingram, we've talked, like there are of course players out there. And I just wonder, Lily, if your New York Knicks will, after this bad start, let's call it what it is, try and shake it up here.
Yeah, I mean, RJ Barrett, I think even he hasn't been great, but they don't have that one asset that I think teams are just clamoring for. Julius Randle's obviously dropped off from last season. He was fantastic last season, hasn't been able to reproduce that. And then, I mean, Kemba Walker's there, but he's obviously not, he can't even get in the rotation. The team's bad right now.
No, teams are going to want their picks, or they're going to want their young guys in Barrett, quickly, Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, quickly, Quickly should definitely have, and Toppin should have some interest out there. So they've got some pieces, but again, not that sort of like must have, I don't think. So that's going to be tough for the Knicks to get that really solid piece, like exactly what they're looking for in return. I'm not sure. I don't even, I mean, what's Fournier? Can he be traded then tonight? Is he part of the 84%?
I believe so, but
yeah, he probably is as a free agent. So, but even then, I think Fournier hasn't been, Fournier hasn't. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nobody else wanted to give him a 4-year deal for that big in the offseason, and probably still don't hear. The problem, something needs to change for the Knicks. Bringing in offense and losing the defense completely backfired on them. Julius Randle turned into a pumpkin in the playoffs, remains a pumpkin at this point. Something has to change. I know Tom Thibodeau has the backing of Leon Rose in the front office, but usually it's the coaching thing that changes before the players do, because like Lee's saying, like their most interesting players here are probably going to be Quickly and Toppin and RJ Barrett. And those are tiny contracts because they're all still on their rookie deals. Not to mention, would the Knicks want to give up on them this early? I mean, like teams are calling about Kevin Knox. Sure, trade that guy. But the others seem to be future pieces for you.
I think they're funny team, Task, because, the Knicks in years prior have like swung for the fences, and it's usually blown up in their face. And then these last couple of years, especially with Leon Rose under control, haven't like gone crazy, have built back up their draft capital, like I said. And so on one hand, I've heard Knicks fans saying, no, well, hey, look, if there's a star player, go get him, be it Cat, be it somebody else of that nature. And then others say, no, what you're doing is the right way to do it. And keep your picks. You've got young guys here and still continue to grow this team. Like maybe you peaked a little too quick, too soon last year. Maybe you were never that good, but you're still a solid team in a playoff race here. Where would you fall on the spectrum there? Like go all in for a big name or continue to slow play it, I guess?
Well, yeah, it's kind of a gray area. I think, you go for it. If there's a star available, you go for it. It always depends on what you're giving up for him. But yeah, why wouldn't you get a star that's a young star on a good contract that's, in the prime of his career? Like what would stop the Knicks from doing that? Having to give up one of their picks or a couple of their picks, or Obi Toppin or Emmanuel Quickly or Quentin Grimes, which is a great name. I think they would go for it. What the problem that they kind of, as you said, they got good early. I mean, they got good last year thinking that it would probably take a couple years. And then they stepped up into free agency and acted as if they were a championship team, really. Like they were adding Evan Fournier as that final piece, or Nerlens Noel, or Alec Burks. I mean, they gave multiple years to multiple guys. And yes, it has backfired to some degree. They are 11-14. It has been disappointing. But I think they kind of work around the fringes again. Like if there is some star available, of course, go for it. But somebody would have to be willing to take on big money. And that's, like Trey said, the players that other teams would want, not huge contracts. But if you're going to get a good player, you need to trade a huge contract. So somebody's going to have to want Evan Fournier for the next 3.75 years, or Julius Randle for 4.75 years. And Randle, I guess, is the elephant in the room here, that he's been extremely disappointing. Like he went from an incredible player last year, took a step back in the playoffs, and hasn't jumped back to that player he was in the regular season. So that's why they're sub 500, really. They would be the same team if Randle was Randle.
If anybody wants Kevin Knox, I think you can get him. They might take a second round pick or something, but go get yourself a Knox if you want to. My final Eastern Conference team, I'm going to put the Atlanta Hawks on here, because I feel like they're a sneaky team to watch here. There hasn't been a ton of buzz about them. I know Shams yesterday said that rival teams are expressing interest in Cam Reddish, but ATL apparently wants a first-round pick for him. I'm not sure, is he worth that? How heavily protected is that pick? That's up to you to decide. He's having like a good year offensively, scoring about 11 points per game, shooting 37% from three. I think, though, like we talk about all these teams around trade deadlines and stuff like that, and it's always like, it feels like it's always the same 4, 5, 6 teams. But then what happens, Lee, is like there's like a surprise team that's sort of like, whoa, like even the Bulls last year making the move for Vucevic. I don't remember that being like reported on a whole bunch. And, you know, they were sort of like really leaning into like, okay, let's go for it here. Let's give up some picks, give up some young guys. And then, of course, the additions in the offseason, signing some of those guys in Caruso and DeRozan and Lonzo Ball. And like, that was big. But my point is like, there's like a surprise team. And I think the Hawks could be that team. I know we've talked off camera before with a couple of our Hawks friends, like, could they make a move for Ben Simmons? Like, could they put together a sort of enticing deal to Daryl Morey and the Sixers to try and add him beside Trae Young and have a backcourt like that? One incredibly skilled offensive player and one incredibly skilled defensive player. I don't know. Maybe that's like not a direction like Schlenk and the Hawks organization wants to go. But, you know, we see Simmons comparisons to Draymond Green all the time. Schlenk, obviously, with the Warriors, saw the success that was, and even the comparisons of Trae Young to Steph Curry. I don't think it's that far-fetched that the Hawks could put it together an enticing package lately and go get somebody of note. Yeah.
I think if you're the Sixers and you say, you know, DeAndre Hunter is injured right now, but he can be very good. He can shoot the three. He's a good defender. And you can get Cam Reddish, who's a little bit trigger happy, but, you know, I think he's trying to sort of put on a bit of a show for himself there. And then maybe a Kevin Huerta or someone like that. I think that is something that could at least get the Sixers talking, because you're getting some shooting, you're getting some, you know, some offense there, and you're getting some defense in DeAndre Hunter. The problem is, DeAndre Hunter's seemingly always injured. So, you know, do you want that? And Kevin Huerta, you know, I think he's quite good. He would be coming off the bench here for Philadelphia. Would the Hawks actually want to sort of give up all their depth right now on taking a bit of a fly here for Ben Simmons? I know we've talked about this a lot on where we stand on Ben Simmons. At his best, no question, I think the Hawks would love to have his defense out there. But he's also coming with some questions. And the Hawks, I think, are a better team than their record. I feel like I've been saying that all season, and then they dropped an absolute stinker last night. But I think when healthy, when Hunter's in that starting lineup, I think this team is much better than what we've seen so far. So they're the sort of team that'd be like, listen, if you want to blow us away with a great offer, maybe, but I don't think they need to go out there and sell these guys. You know, Bogdanovic as well has got to come back. So they've got enough depth, I think, right now that they're not necessarily looking to be involved in a trade. But you call them up, you see what Travis Schlenk's interested in. Maybe you can twist his arm.
Yeah, maybe. Still with the pointing out the stream team, the Hawks did watch Ben shrink live in person.
Well,
there,
that's right. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Look, I think they would still admit he'd be a great addition to their team defensively, but maybe they, you know, it depends what it would cost to get him, I guess, Trey.
Maybe it'll be a Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen thing, and they'll give him the secrets to a winning mindset. I think the Hawks could 100% use Ben Simmons. They're so bad on defense. They need somebody who really cares on that end, and Ben Simmons is at least going to care. Yeah, he melted down in the playoffs against the Hawks, but that's fine. Trade the depth. Like, you need something. You need somebody who is a defensive-minded player. Capella has been that guy for the Hawks. He does not look the same this season. He's getting older. You're locking Ben Simmons in for another few seasons. As a young guy, another ball handler who would be able to take over playmaking. The Hawks have a ton of wings who are good in some games, and then some games completely invisible, and they get roasted defensively from the backcourt position. I think that's a good trade for the Hawks, personally. As for the Sixers, I think they could do a lot better than anything the Hawks are going to give them.
Yeah, that's always the hang up of this, isn't it? All right, let's move to the Western Conference teams, Tess. Lee teased it earlier. Last night, the Rockets were down 6 with like 4.5 to go, and then Eric Gordon, your guy, and DJ Augustine, they went on a 10-0 run. They put Houston in control, and they won the game. Houston's phones should be ringing off the hook with contenders inquiring about the availability of maybe both of them, but especially Eric Gordon. Holy crap. This guy's shooting 45% from 3 for the Rockets this year. Highest mark of his career. That's wild here. And he, you know, you could see him being a great contributor to a playoff or championship contender. Now, the problem with him, he earns $18 million this season. He's still owed, I think, like almost $20 million next season in 2022-23. And then his contract is non-guaranteed the year after that. So in 23-24, he's slated to earn around 20 plus million. But The problem with the contenders wanting him is, well, that's a decent chunk of salary, right? To try and get him, that you're going to have to move to make the numbers work. But is there do you agree that the Rockets should be definitely looking to move him and getting obviously salary to make it work, but forget the players coming back in return outside of like a young prospect, or really then get draft capital attached to it? Like, can you get a first round pick at this point for Eric Gordon? Like, is that insane?
No, I don't think that's insane. There's protections on it. What's a first round pick? Like you just said about the Knicks Charlotte pick that they got. It's top 18 protected or whatever it is.
Yeah,
so,
and then it changes over the next couple of years. Yeah.
Yeah. So Eric Gordon, it's a big contract. It's not like a typical expiring deal. There's money there. So Eric Gordon, oh boy, he's ready to get out of there. Yeah. He's like John Legend. He's ready to go right now. Like now. He's ready to leave, and he's balling, and he should be the type of player that a lot of these teams that are looking for a player should be looking for, because not everyone is going to get Dame or whoever. Dame's not even on the market, but those type of guys, that KCP I mentioned earlier, those
this
type
level
of guys,
of player, yeah,
those are the ones you can go get. But you need a contract coming back. So I didn't really look at the standings for somebody who could pick him up, but I do like the idea of Eric Gordon. I've mentioned before, the Miami Heat. Who knows if Victor Oladipo is going to be able to come off the bench for them. He hasn't played a minute. Eric Gordon would give them some, back end rotation talent, because they're a top heavy team. They could use another scorer. I'm feeling like a Twitter fan right now. Oh baby, yeah, he would look good on that team. Oh baby, he would look good on that team. I mean, he fits everywhere. It's just money. Is the problem coming back?
I don't think that last year of his contract is guaranteed either.
Team option.
So. Oh, did you? Oh, sorry, I missed that. So it's really only this year.
I thought I said non-guaranteed. Maybe I misspoke, but yeah,
you did.
All right.
Duncan Robinson for
I
Eric Gordon,
or I didn't misspoke.
Ooh, Duncan Robinson for.
Would you do it? Duncan for Eric.
I'm not dunking on Duncan at this point. I'm hanging on to Dunk.
Yeah,
not bad.
I don't mind it.
Well, makes you think.
Anyway, the point is, Rockets, they'd be silly to sort of keep him, right? I mean, he has done an incredible job of building up his trade value to the point where we're debating whether they get a first round pick and whatever, maybe a young prospect or someone else that could help them sort of long term. And like DJ Augustine on a whole other level, like a lower level, I could see a team obviously wanting him on their roster, just sort of like a third guard backup emergency. Somebody goes down in a playoff series and you can at least sort of trust him to play some spot minutes. And again, he can be had. And then there's the whole Christian Wood thing. I know that his name's been popping up in trade rumors left and right. That one's a little different. He's obviously a little bit younger. This G League guy has turned himself into an NBA, solid NBA player. I don't want to go as far as say star, but teams that need a center would be, the Raptors have been linked to him for a while, and could they offer something to Houston? So I think they'll be making moves here in the next couple of weeks. A couple other teams here. We don't need to go long on these teams, because I guess we have talked about them a little bit. The Sacramento Kings. I mean, I just don't know how they couldn't possibly explore not trading one of their guys. If it's moving off Fox, if it's moving Barnes, if it's moving Buddy Hield, they have to be picking up the phone and listening to offers for really any three of those guys. They're
Listen to calls for everybody on the roster. Really,
everybody. Nobody's untouchable.
Who cares? Halliburton is good. Mitchell is good. Fine, trade him. Your team stinks. Nobody cares on that team, and that's the problem. So, to me, Fox would be the one to go. If anybody's really interested in Fox, sign through 2026, where he's got a huge deal. You have to imagine he's going to give some more effort once he's away from Sacramento, as many players do. So start at the top, keep going.
And then I have the Timberwolves here. And I brought them up, Trey, because you have been sort of saying this for a little bit now. Just trade Karl-Anthony Towns now. Don't wait. I guess, Lee, you were saying this last year, actually, to give you a little credit too. Just get as much as you possibly can for him now, because the value of him is probably only going to go down the closer he gets to the end of his deal, of course, ending, as it just gets closer and closer and closer. Is that something you would still do, Lee, if you're Minnesota Timberwolves and you're the Wolves? We get excited for a couple games and then you just disappoint us. And you got Anthony Edwards, you got your sort of star backcourt player, and you can build around him, and you can get probably a boatload right now for Karl-Anthony.
Yeah, I think Towns' time is just up there in Minnesota. You saw him the other day. He's just sick of losing. He says he can't, food doesn't taste good. He's been there, 7 seasons now, and it just hasn't gotten any better. So I think you've got to trade the guy while he is still in that position that the Wolves can get something back. I think Anthony Edwards' growth has been so good that they can say, okay, let's maybe shift the focus towards him now and go ahead with Anthony Edwards as our best player and just see then what else we can get to surround him with. They need some bigs. I think they could use also some more shooting. I mean, they could use lots of things because the Wolves do seem to win a couple of games, and they're a bit like the Kings, where you're like, oh, okay, maybe they're okay, and then they'll just drop 6 in a row again. So I think it is time to move on from Towns. He looks like he's just he's done with that franchise as well. Part of it is his responsibility. He hasn't sort of dragged that team to enough wins himself. But he's also been there long enough where I think I don't think it's going to continue. I don't think they're going to get any better with the way they're built right now.
Trey, again, you've been sort of banging this drum for a little bit. I assume you haven't changed your tune on moving Cat and trying to get a lot back for him, young players, picks, whatever you can, and really lean into the Anthony Edwards sort of rebuild, or have you?
Hey, Minnesota, you want a Vooch?
Oh,
you want a Vooch? You want a Patrick Williams? You want a Kobe White? A lot of good food in Chicago. 100% would trade Karl-Anthony Towns. He is not the savior for Minnesota. And Edwards, I think, has kind of been a little disappointing this season. Like, his percentages aren't all that different than they were last year. He's basically playing the same way he did last year. Those two don't seem to make each other better, I don't think. Karl-Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. Like, they don't take away from each other, but they also don't enhance each other. It's a your turn, my turn kind of thing. So, to me, it's impossible for a front office because you're like, do we trade our best player knowing we get more for him today than we will in the future? But in the meantime, those 2 years, we're going to be way worse. It's kind of the Darren Williams situation, right? Where they traded him away from Utah before anybody really knew that he wanted to leave Utah.
Yeah.
They shipped him to New Jersey, brought back a bunch of picks, and that kind of started this era for the Jazz, really, when you really think about it. Just blew my own mind right there. But yeah, it's always smarter to trade your franchise cornerstone before they say they want to leave, because then you're scrambling and people are undercutting your deals and you're not getting the best possible package you could. So better to strike while the iron is surprising.
Yeah, some people pointing out in the stream team have seen this thrown around a little bit. What about Karl-Anthony Towns to the Knicks? Is like that the big name New York could go and get? Yeah, in theory, I like it, but then you remember that Tom Thibodeau is the coach for the New York Knicks, and I don't think he has that high of opinion of Karl-Anthony Towns, if I'm being honest. Though Greg here in the stream team takes me to my final team just perfectly, because he says, OKC, they could give so many picks for Cat. Yeah, they could, and I think Oklahoma is a team to watch here. Washington Post Ben Golliver, our friend Ben there, he said, Sam Presti has the league's lowest payroll by a country mile and will therefore have every opportunity to do what he does best for the rebuilding Thunder, acquire draft picks by using cap space as a way station for bad contracts. Keep your eye on the Thunder task, getting involved in even like as a third team to take on that, bad contract. As long as picks are attached to it, Presti's happy with that. And Ben Golliver's probably right. I bet they do something like that. I don't know about the whole packaging a bunch of picks and then whatever they could to get a big player like Karl-Anthony Towns, but the former I could see happening.
They have cap space. Do they have cat space?
Oh,
how's the cat food in Oklahoma City? Are you hungry, Cat? Go down to Oklahoma. Wow, that would be wild to see Karl-Anthony Towns in Oklahoma City. Just pondering that. I see.
Do you
Okay,
remember the name of the steakhouse we went to in Oklahoma City?
Yes, Cattleman's.
Oh, it's happening.
Cattleman's.
Did you enjoy it, Lee? I don't remember.
Yes, I did. I did. But, I don't eat beef anymore, so unfortunately I won't go back. But, that was back in the old days. So
anyway, those are the teams that I have on my list. Just to run through them very quickly. The Celtics, the Knicks, the Hawks, and then the Rockets. the Kings, Wolves, and then the Thunder, as Ben Golliver were pointing out. They'll get in there somehow to get themselves another pick or two, and just to take on somebody's bad contract.
So who's an ugly contract they could take on right now? Like, I mean, it is hard to figure out. They don't have a lot lot of high dollar value players at this point.
That's an issue. Yeah.
So
but they have so much room. They literally can just take. They can just
that's
take.
A good point. Yeah, they just got to accept somebody. Maybe they'll get John Wall.
John
Wall coming to the point guard way station in Oklahoma City. Rebuild his value, ship him out for some more picks. Let's see it.
Tass, are you staying up till midnight tonight? See if any deals go down at 12:01 when all these guys can be moved. I saw your tweet.
Actually, I might go to bed early and set a 12 a.m. alarm. Actually, 11:55. I'll get up, brush my teeth.
Based on your tweet, Tass, if it's 84% become eligible for a trade, isn't it like 84% of teams that are up 3-2 in a series go on to win the series? So based on that rationale, those players are all going to get traded tonight. Isn't that right?
Oh, I didn't include that
crap,
crazy rationale.
Yeah.
So 84% of the league is going to win the series tonight?
Well, I think that's what you say, isn't it? When they're up 3-2 in a series, it's like they're going to win. so if they're all available, then they're all going to get traded. Everyone just gets traded for everybody.
Yeah, this is the best part of all this. As still with the points out, nothing ever happens.
I know.
No, that's not going to stop us from making a whole segment out of it. Are you crazy? Content kings, baby.
Well, I got Duncan Robinson for Eric Gordon on the brain because Trey mentioned that the Heat for Rockets potential swap if they don't believe in Duncan Robinson. I mean, they just signed him to a long-term deal, but Duncan Robinson can't be traded until January 15th.
Oh, no.
I'm going to be up for 30 days waiting for Duncan to be traded.
You're gonna be drinking Dunkin' coffee. What? Never mind.
Yeah, I've never had
a Dunkin' coffee, but Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Is that what you say? Is that what you have to say?
Is that what you have to? No, they have a lot of cool phrases for people who drink Dunkin' Donuts, like
what?
Like
they do have a phrase.
Yeah, I can't.
America runs on Dunkin'.
Oh, there it is.
America definitely runs on it.
Okay. Let's take our last and final break. When we come back, we'll have two tweet of the night.
JD, you caught my ear during your Omaze ad read yesterday when you mentioned that one of the prizes for donating to charity is a chance to meet the cast of Downton Abbey. As a big-time fan of Mr. Bates, I was very excited. Then I checked out the Omaze website at omaze.com/nodunks, only to find out that not only can you win a chance to meet the Downton cast when you donate to Together for Short Lives, a charity that works to ensure seriously ill children and their families can make the most of every moment they have together. When you donate, not only are you getting to meet the cast of Downton Abbey, you also get to attend the red carpet for the North American premiere of a new movie, Downton Abbey, A New Era. I didn't even know there was a new movie coming out.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's very exciting.
Oh, JD, just imagine you and I wearing top hats and tails on the red carpet, hobnobbing with Lady Mary, Mr. Carson, Thomas Barrow, Mrs. Patmore. I don't think Daisy's in this one, unfortunately, but if she is, I would say hi to her, of course.
Of course.
Oh, JD, you and I shooting furtive glances at the Dowager Countess. Oh, the scandal. Oh, the scandals that would ensue. Everyone deserves the chance to live their dreams. And with Omaze, extraordinary prizes are within reach for everyone. So hit up omaze.com/nodunks today for your chance to win a red carpet extravaganza with the Downton Abbey cast or any other of the number of life-changing prizes and experiences they offer. Plus, if you use our promo code NODUNKS20, you will receive 20 extra entries into any of these contests. That's omaze.com/nodunks and promo code NODUNKS20.
Canva Pro is so easy to use. You don't need to know what layers are to make stuff. You just drag and drop. Earlier this show, I showed a tweet I made using Canva. Like the Raptors' Utah Watanabe said about his performance, I am also so proud of myself for using Canva Pro, and I do it daily. The first time I did it, I filled the frame with a classic No Dunks purple backdrop. That's my template, and every day I go back, select the tweet image I made the previous day, delete it, upload a new one, click on it, and it pops up right on top of the purple. Download, upload, simple. But you can make a lot more elaborate designs than that with Canva Pro. Canva Pro has endless premium fonts, photos, videos, and so much more that add personality and edge to whatever you're designing. Jump on canva.com, click social or presentation or marketing to start you off from thousands of templates, or just start from scratch. Canva Pro is a design platform that empowers you to create and share stunning content in just a few clicks. And with Canva Pro's content planner, you'll save time planning, creating, and posting social media content too. You can pause scheduled posts and edit them at any time. God, I love that organization. I have a sexy graphic depicting how good the Cleveland Cavaliers are coming tomorrow. It's coming soon. I can probably schedule that daily. It happens all the time. I'm always posting my Canva stuff to my social media stuff, and I'm always posting Canva stuff. So, design like a pro with Canva Pro. Right now, you can get a free 45-day extended trial when you use our promo code. Just go to canva.me/nodunks to get your free 45-day extended trial. That's canva.me/nodunks. Canva.me/nodunks.
Are the Photoshop boys becoming the Canva crew? Is that what's happening here? This is wild. Let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter.
Yes. Lily, tweet of the night. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so I've got a tweet. It comes in from Matt Lowell. Now, we've got the tweet, right?
Mm-hmm.
It says the last time the Cavs were 5 games over 500 without LeBron was December 23, 2000. And that roster had 5 players born in the 1960s. So, everybody, let's have a little bit of a round of see how many of these guys you can name. You should be able to get a lot of them, okay?
Old guys in the Cavs.
Yeah, so think about it.
The
think
year
about it.
2000.
Now,
Tyrone Hill.
I'll give you a clue. No Tyrone
Sorry
Hill.
about that.
I'll throw out a
Ooh, I
few.
like that.
There's a few guys no one's ever heard of, but one
Okay.
guy is the color commentator for the Utah Jazz. He has been in the past.
Matt Harper?
Matt Harpering
Yeah.
is one. We've got one guy who has played on a million teams and always wore the same number. I think he had a high number. He's also, like a scary movie character.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Freddy Krueger?
Jason.
No. He's got a great name. Like think of like Child's Play. Who was that guy?
Chucky.
Chucky
Chucky
Atkins,
Atkins.
number
Brown.
52.
Chucky Brown.
Chucky Brown.
Yeah.
Give me a quick guess here. Zydrunas Ilgauskas. That
Correct.
would've been about the time.
Sadrunas. Yes, very good in his second season. Another guy who played on a million teams.
Joe Smith?
No Joe Smith, but this guy's currently a
later on.
TNT side.
Jim Jackson.
Jim Jackson, yes. We've got a guy who you always hear when you hear the Memphis Grizzlies games.
Drew Gooden? No.
Brevin Knight.
Brevin Knight?
Trevor Knight, yes. We have a classic white guy who Shaq absolutely hammered famously in a big dunk.
Dudley?
Oh, sorry. Was that Dudley? Yeah, no, this is another guy who actually played for the Lakers. He's
Vitaly Potapenko.
no, he's got a great surname. One of those 4-letter surnames starts and ends with the same letter.
Chris Mim?
Chris Mann.
What a dude.
You've got a guy who actually currently still plays, and he's playing for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Still plays.
Still plays. What?
Plays. Well, it sounds like he still plays. Anyway, he doesn't actually play, but
Sounds like he still plays.
yeah.
Talking
John Schumann actually pointed it out earlier this year. He goes, that guy, I thought he was talking about this guy who used to play. High draft pick back in the day. He's one of those guys with the initials as his first name.
The initial.
Sounds like it's CJ.
Yeah, like a
You're on the right.
CJ Ellaby. No,
No,
what am I
think
saying?
of Jerome Robinson, Earl, J.R. Reed played.
J.R. Reed.
J.R. Reed was a
yeah.
Cav?
Come on.
Yeah,
Just
it was.
say Hornets or something. say spandex. Give us a real hint.
Say a
What
saxophone.
the fuck is this Schumann OKC hint?
Well, I thought you all saw that earlier in the year. We've got the guy who I believe is the assistant general manager out in New Orleans right now.
Trajan Langdon?
Yeah.
Trajan Langdon, yes,
Is-
good
yeah.
one there, good one.
Great call.
We also have the guy I believe was traded for Dirk Nowitzki on draft night.
Robert
Robert
Trailer.
Trailer. Yeah.
Robert Trailer, correct? Yes. Who else we got? We got
we got a lot of guys
two
on
more
this
that I
team.
think. Two more that I. Yeah, there's like 20 names on there, but you know, there's something like no one's ever heard of Edric Bohannon, so we're not going to get into him.
Sounds like he's in Downton Abbey.
This one guy,
Wagner.
no, but I think you think about this. Oh, former Raptor in there actually. Former Raptor, cousin or brother of a guy who's
Parker? No, wait.
no, but he stood me up at Summer League one time. Related to him.
Did you up
Stephen Graham? No, that's way too
That's too late. Yeah.
Stephen Graham. I love it.
This guy, me and
Yes,
JD met him.
yep.
Me and JD met him and rode the bus with him, and he was supposed
Chuck
to come
Person.
on the show.
Wesley
Yeah.
Person.
Wesley.
Oh,
Person.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
He didn't play for the Raptors.
Wesley Person didn't play for Raptors. No, I thought he did.
There's a few guys in the league.
You need to get to popping packs again because you're rusty, bro. These are weird hints you got going on.
Yeah. Okay, this other guy, I don't think I've
Yep.
said him. One of the funny guys to have scored 50 points in a game because this guy had an ugly shot, got a lot of assists. He was known more as a point guard. Great fantasy player, actually.
Is that
this
what
guy.
What did Trey
Trey just
say?
said him?
Tony
Delk?
No, not Tony Delk. No.
AC Earl?
No. This guy probably didn't shoot a three when he hit his 50 though. But he had an ugly shot, and
He's a guard, though. You said.
yeah, he's a guard. Yeah. Played for the Cavs and then the Clippers and the Blazers. I think he was on the Blazers when he scored his 52.
Andre Miller.
Andre Miller.
he was
that's
on
right.
He was on the cap.
Yeah, he
thought
started
Wow.
on the Cavs.
He
Yeah.
might have led the
Oh,
league
I
in
forgot
assists
about
as a
that.
Cav.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Yeah. Okay, I think we've got most of them here. We'll get two more in though.
Nice.
One guy, you think of the Golden State Warriors, I think mostly when you think of this guy. I think he was an all-star in 97, in fact. One-time all-star.
Oh, he was not Gatling.
Yes, Chris Gatling.
This team is insane.
Yeah. And there's another guy. I think of him more as the Miami Heat. And he's one of those weird, his first name is not his real name, but that's what he went by.
Right.
And
Bimbo.
Bimbo Coles.
Coles.
Well done. Yeah. So there you go.
So this was the 2000 Cavaliers, though, you said, basically?
That's right. Yeah. The last time
Cedric
Oh,
Henderson.
Lamont Murray. There's a former Raptor.
Oh, that's who it. Yeah, he's right there too with Wesley Persley.
Larry
Larry
Robinson. He used to
Robinson.
play for the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, he was there. Yeah, he was the New Jersey Devils coach as well, wasn't he, Larry Robinson?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, geez,
So,
this is crazy. This roster.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what a group of fellows.
Yeah.
Cedric Henderson. How come we didn't get to guess Cedric Henderson?
Yeah. Well, he was another one.
I wanted to guess Anthony Johnson. Two common names.
I wanted to guess Clarence Weatherspoon. All right.
Oh, wow.
What a
Michael
So you
B.
did say
Hawkins.
5 of those guys were born in the 60s.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the pretty crazy part. All right.
Yep.
Pick 'em results. Brought to you by BetMGM. Last night, Heat Cavs. Back to that game. Cleveland was favored by 5.5. You know, we knew the Heat were missing some guys, but we thought, well, some of us thought, Tass thought, and my coin flip thing thought the Heat would cover. My app has not got a game correct yet. It's 0 for 4 in flipping a coin. This is actually amazing to me. I'm 1-8. Tass now 4-5. Lee got it right. You're 4-5. You're tied with Tass, and then Trey, a beautiful 8-1 record here in December. So only 3 games on tonight because we didn't even talk about this, did we? The Bulls had a couple games postponed. They were supposed to play tonight, if I have that correctly. And then they were supposed to play Thursday against the Raptors, but those are going to be postponed because of their team being ravaged by COVID health and safety protocols. So anyway, what's our game tonight, Tass?
Well, it's the TNT doubleheader. And the team leading that doubleheader, of course, is Steph Curry going into Madison Square Garden. So I thought, of course, we're going to pick that game. But it's only a 3.5-point line, and I thought we'd all take the Warriors. Am I right in saying that? Yeah, right.
Hold on.
Who's taking that?
Give me a second. You said the Warriors are the road team. Yes,
But
that is correct.
Oh, okay. You insert who the road team is with the coin. Oh,
Well, road team is tails.
of course.
Yeah,
Of
home team
course.
set.
Homes heads. Heads homes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I went away from that game. I went off the TNT board and I went to the Nets the Nets hosting the Toronto Raptors. This line, so big, 8.5 points for the Brooklyn Nets. And News from Shams Charania. 4 Nets have entered health and safety protocols for tonight's game. They will not be playing. LaMarcus Aldridge, DeAndre Bembry, Javon Carter, and James Johnson. Sorry, Trey. You can't change your pick. You're the only one.
No Bembry? Come on.
I know. You wouldn't change it anyway.
No Bembry. Sure. What are we going to do?
No Bembry. No problem. Nets. 8.5-point favorites against the Raps. The 3 of us, Skeets, myself, and Lee, are taking the Raps to cover that big line, but could be a Nets blowout. Sure.
Here's all we care about. Can the app, the coin flip app, go to 0-5? Here we go. This was going to be interesting, Tass. Obviously, I'm a Raptors fan. I was like, well, let's see what the coin flip app says. And it came up Raps. So I didn't have to really, what am I going to pick against the Raptors? Oh my God. No, the coin says they're going to cover. So that means that's a 10, maybe 9-point victory for the Brooklyn Nets tonight. Fade the coin, people. You're making a lot of money fading me in this coin app right now.
That's probably a double-sided Raptors coin. Either way, it's coming up for the Raptors.
No.
What jersey are you wearing?
Oh, yeah.
Show everybody.
Thanks for asking.
That's a nice jersey.
This is pretty cool. This is from Luke Samansky. Luke's LUCS Design 91 on Instagram if you want to check out his stuff. It's like there's a real good shot of it there. It's a Barnes jersey. Yeah, it's going to be my Halloween getup for the foreseeable future. But go check out Luke's Design 91 on Instagram. Just incredible stuff that you can actually buy some of the stuff some of these designs that he does. So yeah, I got my first Scottie Barnes jersey. Loving it.
Yeah, that's a Scottie Barnes, baby.
Yeah.
Barnes with the bones.
That's right. The bones are not my dollars. Right now. I don't make any money doing any of these picks. It's brutal, and I owe 3 pick'em payoffs. It's gonna be 4. That's it for today's show, guys.
Tasty. I thought you were going to say that's Luka Samanich's designs. That's a real sicko, NBA sicko. That was the guy who got released for not running back on defense. Pop said, "You're out of here. Go design your jersey."
No, Luke Samansky. All right, guys, we'll call it there. Fun show as always. Thanks to the stream team for joining us live. Thanks to the pod squad for listening later in the day. Keep your questions coming. Like I said, we'll probably hit the beach tomorrow. NoDunks@theathletic.com. You can tweet them in at NoDunksInc. You can leave them in the YouTube comments. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and grab yourself an Athletic subscription. Go to theathletic.com/NoDunks. We will see y'all tomorrow. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, the best holiday gift you can give No Dunks? Hit that subscribe. Click it.
Brace the day, people.
You